For the postman, Professor Melly Bell. This is not a glorification or a glamorization. This is an education. You can go anywhere in the world and get a couple of lives, but you come right here to get the truth. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below. So when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the first and the 15th. Lock the door. Back with Snake. Snake, talk to me about King Ratt, man. What was King Ratt's name?
Glenn Pruitt.
Glenn Pruitt. When did you first meet Glenn?
Sure, he's from Park Village. You know, we all kind of grew up together, you know, as kids coming up. I didn't really know King Ratt like that, you know, even though it was a lot of us, because he stayed on one end of the village and I stayed on the other end. So, you know, he had a sister, I remember, that kind of caught a lot of our eyes. But, as far as King Ratt, you know, once he started getting big and started buffing, I don't know if he went to jail or something came out and he was just this big old dude. You know, once you start becoming like, you know, where visible to the eye, you know, and people start, you know, you start hearing more and more of your name, you know, then that's when you start becoming popular. And then next thing you know, everybody know you. You become like family. And I mean,
how did he get that name, King Ratt?
Well, I know, you know, I don't know if anybody else have said something different, but I know for a fact that one night we broke in Compton High School. And remember, you know, we young, you know, we always looking for something to get into. You know, it's all someone have to do is just bring up something. You know, and the next thing you know, everybody be like, all right, I'm down, let's do it, you know. And then next thing you know, it actually goes into action, you know. So we broke into Compton High School cafeteria and everybody was grabbing everything. You know, I was looking for the maple bars, you know what I'm saying? Because them little donuts with a little skin, you know, I'm so good, man. I used to get them every morning.
School maple bars.
Yeah.
And the cheeseburgers and the punch.
Them cheeseburger and the punch.
And Laura Scudder chips.
God, yeah. The mother cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
They was good, huh?
Yeah.
It was almost like they was steamed or something. Man, golly, and the punch. So you was there like that too?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I'm 60. I'm going to be 65 in a couple of months. And you're going to be 67 when?
Next August.
Next August. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm right behind you.
Man, you know, but man, we went into that big freezer and we got that big salami off the hook and King Ratt grabbed that cheese. It was a big old block of cheese and he threw it up on his shoulder and we ran and the fence was a tall fence, like this, the height of the ceiling right here, you know, and so we had to climb over it. Ratt, he just got to the top of it and flipped that cheese over onto the other side and it hit the ground. And then he leaped over the fence, came down and grabbed that cheese and he took off across the canal and into Park Village. And then we called him King Ratt.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. Even Grasshopper, you know, when we got our bald heads and shit, you know what I'm saying? And then my boy Nell Payne, you know, he was like, he walked over to Grasshopper when he was bald headed.
And that's how he got the name?
And he said, when you take the pebbles from my hand, you may leave.
God. It was
and everyone looked and bust up laughing because he looked at just like Grasshopper from Kung Fu.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
that's how he got that name. How did you get the name Snake?
I don't know. People just thought that I was real quiet. And they say I'll be slide, slipping and slide. You know what I'm saying? So I think that name Snake just came up like that, you know, because no one knew what I was thinking, you know, because I was always to myself. But I was just always in thought, you know, and I never really thought that I had really an interesting conversation. So I kept my mouth shut.
What about tight eyes? How you get tight eyes?
Tie-dye name, when we was going to Davis, we started calling him Lil Eddie because he had that little Eddie Pete
from the Monsters.
Yeah, but it just went away for some reason. It's not there no more, you know. But we started calling him Lil Eddie, But then after, our encounters with the Crips, um, Lil Eddie became Tight Eyes. Tight Eyes started coming around because everyone thought that his eyes was always tight. And we say, nigga, can you see me? You know what I'm saying? Because you couldn't see his they was just tight, like that. But he was able to see you. Yeah.
You had an interesting group of friends there, Snake.
I know, man. But we grew up.
Were the Samoans in there at that time?
Yeah.
Who do you remember?
My boy Suey. Man, we used to shoot marbles against the Samoans. Me and Tight Eyes. We used to have a sock full of marbles, boulders, everything. Cat eyes, everything in there. And Suey, they was bad. Tight Eyes wanted to fight one of them, and I told him, you don't want to fight them. You know what I'm saying? Because he thought that they was cheating. That's the only the reason why they was winning. No, they had a unique way of shooting marbles. Now we shot marbles like this, pow, like that. You know what I'm saying? But they take the marble and put it in their finger and pow, and it tag that marble and knock it.
Knock it out the circle.
Sometimes they bust the marble open. That's just how powerful and strong they was. Oh, those Samoans were no joke. There was this one dude they called Big Joe, and he was a big Samoan. He used to wear the little skirt with the flowers on it, stuff like that. And he'd come out to the football field and he'd kick a football barefooted, and we'd watch it until it disappeared in the sky.
Wow. Was Tafuga over there at that time? Big Roscoe?
No, because we didn't really. There was no nicknames out there.
Okay.
Back in the
so you
days.
Just knew the real names.
We just knew them by their real.
So, but
names.
They were crippin' though.
They wasn't, like they came about, once we took off. Then I think they was more like on the sideline watching us, and then they joined in. But I don't think they came in until probably like, man, because when we came. Like 72, I think that's when we kind of went into that. So the Samoans, when I started hearing about them, it was probably about like maybe 75, 74, somewhere in there. Then they went crazy. I mean, they was in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, you don't want to mess with them. They brought a whole new meaning to Park Village. Yeah, they made us really strong. Real, man, yeah. It was almost like no way out of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
So when Mac used to show up in Park Village, he show up in Boot Hill, he show up in the Grandies.
Who, Mac?
Yeah.
Mac. The only time when I used to see Mac is when we have meetings. Or whenever something's going to happen at a football game at Compton High School, and they all come together, and then they go up to Compton High School. One day we was at Compton High School, and we was in the stadium, and we ain't Crips yet. And all of them, Red Dogg, all of them came up in there, and they had their canes, and we up in the back in the stadium, and you can see how they come up under that little tunnel right there, and then they up in there, and now they can look up and see us. And when he did that, man, and everybody saw him, they just kept coming in. And Red Dogg looked up in the audience and raised up his cane like this here and caused a stampede. Everybody started screaming and running and stuff like that, Yeah, you do know. I mean, he just raised up his cane. That's just how hard they looked at. Man, I'll never forget that shit, man.
Yeah, it was interesting times when I saw them, man. I knew, they had that fierceness and, they had that no nonsense, and they just had this stern look about them, and rightfully so, because when you mentioned the overalls with the one strap, that was like standard for the guys that was buff.
Yeah,
because Tookie was like that, Mac, Raymond, all them guys was like, it stood out that way.
That was crazy.
We talked about the parties, and we also talked about the Grandies. But did you ever go to any of those parties in the Grandies?
No. Only thing I could say is that I only been in the Grandies, probably if I could count, probably maybe 4, maybe 5 times.
Okay. Did you know Mr. X?
Yeah, I knew his mother. Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And you know Catnip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
All of them. All the niggas from the block over there.
Keely Wells, Slim, Barefoot, Keely Wells, Preacher.
Yeah. I used to hang out
Lil Greg, Mike T.
And, all of them over there.
Yeah.
It was a gang of that.
Aunt Malone.
Yeah.
What was Aunt Malone like?
Oh man. I really can't pick up on a whole lot because, you know, like I always stayed in the village all the time. You know, I tried not to get, you know, too deep. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like I had to first understand what it's all about first, you know, and see if this is for me. Because I never really been, you know, the kind of person that, you know, like I always been like more of a socializing kind of person, you know, that the more friends I could meet, the better, you know. So I was that person. I like to go to clubs and stuff like that, you know, mingle with the girls, and I had my own little group, like I talked about earlier. You know, everybody had their own little groups, and I had mine. So my group was more like on the party, the hustling side, you know, making money and stuff like that. You know, my only problem was that I just didn't, you know, every man, you know, if you know sky's the limit, but every man must know its limit. You know, but if you don't have a limit, you know, you have to be very careful about what you allow to come in, you know what I'm saying? True. Because you'll take it to a place where, you know, you'll lose yourself. True. And once you lose self-control of yourself, you become like a victim of something that you didn't ask for. It just came on you, and you that person now.
Right. Well, Snake, I appreciate this. You sitting down with me and we talking to my man, but at this point, man, we're going to go ahead and lock the door. Lock the door?
Lock the door.
Lock it.
Straight out of Compton, original streets. Grew up with the lion, see what the criminals see. Now he a giant and a pivotal key. Got it down to a science, this the visual streets. He came up with bullet, he came up with turtle. Live life to the fullest, he put it all in the journal. We dodging them bullets, we jumping them hurdles. It's the Dahoodpostman, we in the streets universal.
Dahoodpostman, Professor Belly Bell. This is not a glorification or a glamorization. This is an education. You can go anywhere in the world and get a couple of lives, but you come right here to get the truth. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share, drop a comment down below. So when the dope content hits, it'll feel like it's the first and 15th. Lock the door.